So in our Values for Living curriculum, we have several components. We have an icebreaker, we have small group discussion, we have a large group discussion, we have a hands-on activity, and we have a wrap-up that cements the learning. So let's talk just a little bit about why each of those pieces is important and how to send the cadets home with something that actually becomes transformational for them. So why do we start with an attention getter or an icebreaker?
Well, again, the cadets come in, and we really do kind of come in with a what's in it for me, and with a, ooh, is this a safe place to be? So an icebreaker is just that. It's an icebreaker, whether it's a movie clip that might set the stage for, okay, this is what we're going to talk about. Maybe there's humor in it. So you get everybody laughing, and that tends to make people comfortable. Or it could be an icebreaker where they're getting to know each other. Maybe they don't know each other very well, and they find connections with each other. So your icebreaker, it sets the mood. Again, it might bring humor, or it may make people feel more comfortable because they know each other better. Then we get into objectives, because rules of engagement and objectives. What is it you expect from me? What are we doing? What does this look like? And so that kind of lays the groundwork for what this experience is going to be like. And then, of course, there's the concept. This is what we're going to get into, because we all need to be on the same page, whether it's a definition or a concept, or and how it fits into everything else that we do and everything else that we learn. And then the hands-on, whether it's the small group into a large group, or maybe a group activity, a hands-on activity. Most of our younger generation, they're kinesthetic, they're hands-on. I learn by doing. We do have some auditory listeners, which means I learn by hearing, but most people learn by doing. So now you're in there and you're trying the concept on, and you're seeing how how other people live this, and so again, it's that learning and teaching from each other. And then I can begin to figure out, how does this work for me? How do I show up into this? And that's what a lot of this hands-on group activity does, is it gives them the ability to talk through it and try it on and see how it fits me. Then, of course, we get towards the end, and so it's one thing to experience a transformational moment and have a lesson or a class or a value, and oh wow, that was amazing, but now what do I go do with it? And so then at the end, we want them to walk away not only maybe with a greater self-awareness, but able to apply what I've learned in that class.
So one thing that I want to bring out regarding the small group experience is that we've all had the experience of the precocious cadets who want to answer all the questions, and you can get 2 or 3 or 5 cadets who want to do all the talking, and they're the ones that are very hard to draw out. But in the small group environment, where you get them broken up into 2s, 3s, 4s around a table or pulling their chairs around and having that discussion together, it gives that cadet who's a little more on the shy side the opportunity to actually engage and hear himself or herself actually talking through the concepts with the people that are at that table. And that way that cadet has actually had the chance to vocalize. And then when you get back into the large group environment, they've already heard themselves talk about it. There's a greater possibility that the cadet can be drawn out in that large group discussion. And as you wrap up your sessions, you have some techniques that you use to actually cement that thing that you've been talking about, so that when they leave, they actually can take it with them in a sense that they actually own the virtue they've been talking about, rather than just hearing the information and probably not remembering it 15 minutes later. What are some of the things that you do specifically to cement that at the end?
Right. One of the things we found that works really well for us is to, maybe you have index cards on the table or paper, but have them write down, and what is what's one aha moment I had today, or what is the one thing I learned today, and then put action to it. Therefore, the one action I commit to taking, or the one action I commit to doing differently, or new action I commit, is blank. So they have their aha moment, the one, something I learned, but now how am I going to apply it when I leave the room, when I leave this classroom? Because that's the key. The key is a transformational experience makes you aware, and when you become aware of one thing, you begin to become aware of many things. But now, okay, here's one thing I'm going to do differently. So then they begin to experience maybe more competence, more confidence, more commitment in the virtue or the topic at hand. If there's time, depending on the time, I may go around the room and say, everybody, share with me one thing you learned. Or if there's less time, maybe, okay, this table, want somebody to tell me what you've learned. Or it might be, hey, write it down, take it with you, share with your buddy, and maybe hold each other accountable. Ask each other within a week, how are you doing with that? Or maybe on a consistent basis. So the key is that the transformational experience from facilitating, where we're bringing it from the learner, not trying to put it into the learner, we're bringing it from them, is they learn, okay, this is how I show up in this. Wow, here's an aha moment. Maybe I'm not the only one. Maybe others are dealing with the same thing I am. Interesting. Now here's one thing I can do when I leave here to increase this virtue, strengthen this virtue, or just make better choices moving forward as a young man or a young woman of character.
And that's so important because these cadets are literally the future leaders of the world. The investment that we are making in them is so important because we do a good job in Civil Air Patrol, and you do at the Air Force Academy, at instilling leadership and customs and courtesies. Everywhere our cadets go, people notice them because they're some of the sharpest and nicest and most impressive young people that anyone has ever met. But if all they know how to do is lead, but they don't have a sense of those internalized virtues and that moral compass, we've lost the war. So what you do as a chaplain or a character development instructor is one of the most important things that we can do for our country and our world. So I commend you to take these things that we've been talking about and begin to incorporate these into what you're doing more and more. Think facilitative learning, think transformational learning, so that not only are we imparting information to these cadets, but we're actually drawing out the things that are inside of them that are going to turn them into the leaders that are coming just a blink away, because they truly are going to be the leaders of the world before you know it. So thank you so much for what you do. We value you so much and the investment that you make in our precious young people, because after all, character is an inside job.